Here we I'm JP Tsang. I run Bayser Consulting. And AI, I'm very happy to hear this gentleman about AI. When I was a young man, I did a PhD in AI in expert system. And it's the time of Lisp that most of you don't know about. And it was about knowledge engineering, right? Basically, we talk with the experts. So I worked in payload for satellites, cruise liners, and all that stuff. So you talk with experts, and then you glean the rules, and then you write the rules in if-then statements. And that was kind of the state of the art at the time. And it's amazing how much AI has evolved since this. I was talking with a professor a few months ago, and he himself, he's a big guru in robotics, and he's amazed by the progress. In terms of our vision for the future, I think AI is, for me, is quicksand. I mean, you look at the speed with which this thing is moving, it's just crazy, right? Just this year, you hear about Cursor, Windsurf, Claude Code, things that you never heard about last year, right? So I think in building the future, we need to make sure that we incorporate the new technology that's coming. And one of the setbacks of what I see is people that started working on AI, they started relatively early. And when you look at most of the demos that we've, apps that have been developed with the older technology, for instance, they don't talk and they don't listen. You can only type. And today, this is very commonplace to be able to talk to the system, right? We all do that with ChatGPT and listen to you. But since many of the projects have started at the time when ChatGPT came out, so that was not available. So I think one of the key points I want to drive at is that we absolutely need, while we do our project, keep track of the new technology that's evolving at the same time. I'll just make one more comment and then we'll take the questions. One of the things that happened with ChatGPT 5 is, let's use this word, disappointment, right? Because there was so much hype about ChatGPT 5 would be one big stuff over ChatGPT 4, but it was incremental and everyone agrees with that. So people started to have comments about, is it the inflection point? Is AGI no longer just around the corner? And I think when we build the future, we have to somehow incorporate that as well, right? We hear a lot of things about vibe coding and so on, and probably we'll talk about that later on. So I'll shut up for now. I agree completely. For me, the stuff is speed, right? And speed means it depends on your capability, right? So if you go outside, you'll go faster, go outside. If you can build it in-house faster, do it in-house. So because we start off with a proof of concept anyways, right? And then what you want is to fail early, right? You want to recognize the issues that you have very quickly. So if you got a big project and you're going to take lots of time to realize that actually it's the wrong path or you're making the wrong decision, you better get it early. So for me, the mantra is go fast, whatever ways to just get it done as quick as you can. Yeah, I agree with you. It's the first one, I think it's speed. You look at the speed with which people develop code, for instance, it's faster in general. Second, I think it's things that you would not have done. For example, I was talking to a client, and the question was about how come we have the NPS, new patient starts, kind of decreasing, but still the RXs are increasing? Is that kind of weird? And so you can, through ChatGPT, write a little prompt, and then it would generate charts, and then it would show you the NPS on the one hand in one chart, and then you have the RXs. And so you can provide very quickly a model that allows people to say there's no contradiction between NPS dropping and the RXs going up if you follow like a bathtub model. So I think this kind of stuff would be very difficult to have without AI. And I think the other metric would be the ability to address bigger problems with a smaller team or same size team. So this is something that you'll embrace something bigger because you have AI. So just to recap, the things that you are doing, you can do faster, and things that you were not doing, that you could do. I think we're making the assumption that the AI is fixed. So when you solve a problem, it depends on how you talk with it. The technical word is prompt engineering. So for example, you ask about the market share. So if you have an AI that kind of smart, you can say market share based on what basket and on what time frame. And those drugs, you realize some are oral, some are IV. So some of them CMS 1500, which has a lag of at least 6 weeks compared with the oral. So if you want to compute the market share on the last one, you'll get it wrong. You have to adjust. Those are things that are programmable. So if you come in and you say, give me the market share, and you say, ha, 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 it's so stupid, right? It doesn't get the answer. Actually, the AI should be laughing at you, right? Because you did not give the stuff that the AI needs. So I'll step back from that and go back to the human in the loop. I think we'll have the human in the loop as long as the AI is stupid. So when the AI is really good, it does not need you anymore. Go back to AlphaZero. AlphaZero beat AlphaGo Zero that beat the world champion at Go back a few years ago now. So the whole premise of AI is to kick out the human from the loop. Because once you kick out the human, then it can autoplay and it goes way, way better. So we are lucky that the AI is not very smart. I don't know for how long, maybe 5 years, something like this. And that's why you have like an assistant. You can boss it around, you can criticize it and so on, right? Yeah, you're kind of stupid. But when the day the guy does as well or better than you, the relationship changes completely. So the human in the loop is really contingent upon the ability of the AI. And we are the vectors of the ability of the AI, depending on how we do it, right? So a good example would be, look at Claude Code. Claude Code revolutionized vibe coding because it allows you to generate better code with the agents and then debug and do all that stuff. And without Claude Code, you would be laughing. You say, oh, look at how stupid it is, right? But if you look at Claude Code, the quality of the code just goes up immediately. It's far from perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect, right? But the point I'm making is that a lot of the AI response that you get is basically what you feed to it. I'll make 2 comments on the agent. I think the first one on the agent, it can do work, right? So what does work mean? It means that it can take over your website, read what's on the stuff, and click for you. And for example, you can do booking of the hotel, and it can do work, right? So this is really, really, scary because it replaces you to some extent. The second comment about the agent, it's because the AI is weak. So when the task is big, what you do, you chop up the task in smaller tasks. And then you get the baby task to the agent, because then you say, oh, you generate you check out what's going on, you put it together, you are the orchestrator, and so on. And the reason we do all that stuff, it's because the task is too big. So the agent is the response to the inability of the AI to do something big, right? So that's the second part of the agent. And is the agent the right way to go? Absolutely, right? Because then it becomes manageable and we can debug it more easily because we give it a very specific task. So those are the 2 things for me that I would say why the agents are going to become even more popular. I'll give a quick response to that. I think the people that are part of the council have to be very knowledgeable in AI. If you look back in the days of ChatGPT, Italy decided to ban ChatGPT, right? In many places, in the schools, they say no ChatGPT. And I think that's not very smart, because you could use ChatGPT to tell the kid, here's an essay, how you can improve the essay, change the tone. If you're a creative teacher, you can leverage ChatGPT to the max. If you're not very smart, you're going to say, no ChatGPT in my class. So I think the people in the council have to be knowledgeable in AI, otherwise they're going to make stupid decisions. And with the ramifications going to be huge, because the US is not the only country to play in that field. And so we've got obviously China, and Europe, because of too much regulation, I think is held back. So my point is, make sure you get the right people in there. Yeah, maybe the key point is about recognizing that AI is quicksand. The technology is moving really fast, and that's not exaggerating. Every week you see something major. We had DeepSeek, we had Manus, we have a bunch of things happening, DeepSeek R2 and so on. And one of the issues when we decide to jump on AI, we probably locked in the technology. So if you look at as soon as OpenAI, you get most of the pharma companies sign a deal with OpenAI, and the stuff that they're using is kind of old today. So you look at the new apps that are being built today, they are way, way, way better than the ones that are being used using OpenAI. So the lesson here is while you have your nose to the grind, make sure that you're keeping track of all the changes that are happening, and it may make sense for you to jump ship and use the newer technology.